Hey there, I'm Stacey Harris, and I like helping people be healthy, fit, and fabulous at every age. Now, you know how sometimes you're really doing well following your healthy vegan eating plan, and you don't want to blow it, but you just feel like a sweet treat? That's when you need Stacey Slim Snacks. That's what I call the creations that I come up with that are still totally vegan, mostly whole food plant-based, don't use sugars or artificial sweeteners or oil or butter or any animal products of any sort, so that you can have that little sweet treat when you get that craving, but you're still staying on track and you're still making healthy choices and putting premium fuel into your body. So today I want to share with you a recipe I've come up with recently that is a high protein snack, still totally delicious and chocolatey. I call them my chocolate blueberry protein brownies. Doesn't that sound delicious? Well, I'm telling you, they are. And they're incorporating all good ingredients. These chocolate blueberry protein brownies are so decadent, and yet they're full of healthy ingredients and an easy way to get an added boost of protein into your diet. A while back, I got really into smoothies, and they are a delicious, easy way to get a lot of nutrients in, but I found that I was drinking them so quickly that it really wasn't satisfying, and I found that I wanted to eat my nutrients instead of just drinking them. But once I started moving away from that, I was left with a lot of protein powders that I had purchased. So I thought, now what can I do with those protein powders? So I decided to start incorporating them into my Stacey Slim Snacks. And that's what we're gonna use today. So I've used a lot of different Orgain products, and I wanted to try this simple version of Orgain's plant protein powder. I love that it's non-GMO, vegan of course, gluten-free, and it's also free of any artificial sweeteners, which is really important to me because I personally don't want to consume artificial sweeteners. Now it does have a little bit of coconut sugar, because it is lower on the glycemic index. So that's what we're going to use to get a little protein boost in our brownies. So the first step is to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to mix the ingredients in a blender, but if you have a Cuisinart or food processor, you could use that as well. So to start, I'm going to put in a half a cup of water. Then I'm going to put in a half a cup of blueberries. These are wild organic blueberries, but if you have regular blueberries, that works. These were frozen. They've been sitting out on the counter for just a little bit. So they're slightly thawed, but if they're totally frozen or totally thawed, that would work too. And next I'm going to add a half a cup of oats. I'm using organic old-fashioned. You could also use quick oats, but don't use steel cut for this recipe. Next I'm adding 2 scoops of the Orgain chocolate simple protein powder. You can use whatever protein powder you like. Just use the amount that's recommended for one smoothie. So for this one, 2 scoops is 150 calories, 3.5 grams of fat, 3 grams of fiber, 6 grams of total sugars, and 20 grams of protein. And that's what you would use to make one smoothie. Now, because I like things just extra chocolatey, I'm also going to add a tablespoon of raw cacao powder. But if you want it more of a milk chocolatey taste, the chocolate in the protein powder, I'm sure, is enough. Next, we're going to add a half a cup of unsweetened applesauce. And I know this is about a half a cup. I like getting these single serving ones. You can get a 6-pack of them. That way you don't have a big jar that just sits in your refrigerator and maybe you don't use it all. Now, last ingredient is a ripe banana. Now, I've also made these with sweet potatoes that have already been roasted. So if I have some that I've already roasted and are just sitting in my fridge, I'll often use a sweet potato instead. It just depends what I have on hand. If I have bananas that are super ripe like this. So this time I'm going to use the banana, but really either works, the sweet potato or the banana. And I'm going to say about half a banana. This is a small banana, but I think half is good. Just make sure it's very ripe because that makes it sweeter and softer, which is what we want. Now really, that's the basic recipe, but if you would like to add a little extra flavor, I'm gonna add some cinnamon because it's so good for you, helps stabilize your blood sugar and is super healthy. Next, I'm gonna add a dash of sea salt. Now if you're trying to avoid salt, you don't need the sea salt. I personally don't have a problem with salt, so I do like a little bit of a salty taste. And then I'm gonna add just a dash of organic vanilla extract. If you were gonna measure it, I would say about half a teaspoon, but again, make it to suit your taste. That's really all there is to it. Now we're just gonna blend it up, put it in a muffin tin, hit the oven, and we're on our way. And before you pour it into your muffin tin, you might wanna just take a little taste and make sure it's to your liking. Oh yeah. You may find that you need to stop halfway and scrape down the sides and then blend again. This blender did pretty well with it. And now all we need to do is pour it into our muffin pan. So I'm gonna use these silicone muffin tins, which I love. They're very floppy and they don't stick, so you don't need to use any oil or muffin cups. But if you have a more traditional muffin tin like this, you can either spray it with oil, which I do try to avoid, or you can line it with baking cups like this. But since I now have this silicone muffin tin, which I love so much, I'm gonna put it in this. The silicone muffin tray is very floppy, which is great when you wanna pop the muffins out once they're done, but it can be a little unwieldy when you're taking it in and out of the oven. So you might choose to balance it on a traditional cookie sheet or baking tray. It goes into the oven for approximately 20 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I found that this recipe is so adaptable, and I've often customized it based on what ingredients I have in my house. So if you're not as much of a chocolate fan, you could use a vanilla protein powder. You could throw in some peanut butter or a peanut butter powder. You could use pumpkin in place of the banana to give it more of a pumpkin-y flavor, and throw in some additional fall spices like pumpkin pie spice or nutmeg, more of the cinnamon, some cloves. So you can really make it your own based on what you like. After 20 minutes, the top should be slightly cracked, something like this. And now the hardest part is waiting for them to cool. Now that they're cool, I've popped them out of the muffin tray, and I'm serving these two with just a bit of raspberry on top. These were frozen raspberries that I popped into the microwave, and they act as a topping, but you can eat them plain or top them however you want. So now let's see how they taste. So decadent. Delicious, moist, chocolatey, protein-packed deliciousness. And we didn't use any eggs, any butter, any oil, just clean, simple, organic ingredients to help keep you healthy, fit, and fabulous. I'm Stacey Harris. See you next time.